What's happening, everyone? And welcome to the Systems Lab Live. I'm very excited to be with you all here today. This is just such a good time, folks. This is a good time where we're here together talking about each and every single week. We talk about trends in productivity, how we can manage our projects better, and develop streamlined processes. Okay. This is a good time. Okay. If you're here for the very first time, I definitely want you to do two things. Number one, sit down, get comfortable, grab yourself a snack and a little notebook. You probably want a little notebook. There's probably going to be a couple little tips that you're going to say, didn't think about that. Didn't think about that. Okay. I love it. And number two, I definitely want you to share this with a friend or two. Okay. Share this with a friend or two. And then lastly, if you find this content to be, something that you want to come back to, I would just hit that little subscribe button. Okay. Hit that little subscribe button on YouTube and be able to and become a part of this whole thing, and that little notification button. Okay. And so just come on in. As my good friend AD would say, come on in the room. Come on in the room because we're here. Okay. Come on in the room. I love it. The topic for today's or this week's topic is that we are focusing on meetings. I hate meetings. Okay. And I love this topic because I keep hearing people talk about how they hate meetings. And I was like, well, I thought I did a live stream about it a while back. And I feel like I did. And I even have like a little YouTube video um, where I talk about ClickUp meeting management. And we're going to go through that in a live stream soon, like Wednesday. That's the soon. But we're going to get into that in the next couple of minutes. Let's see. I'm going to go through this, a couple of things before we get into show and tell with Ask Ash. But I definitely want to know, what you guys are up to. Always gotta check in, drop your name, location, and what you are working on. Okay. And as you all continue, those that are new to the Systems Lab Live, we ask this question often, right? Because this is really a show about what we're doing on a daily and weekly and monthly basis. Pretty much. We are in this series called Everyday Work. And I actually think, you guys, I just told someone today on a call, because we're going to do a YouTube in October. But I just told someone, I think I'm going to change my podcast name to Everyday Work. I think I'm going to do that. Okay. Because the more and more I start thinking about my new podcast seasons that are coming up and what we're talking about here and what I talk about on Conversations, even though I love that name, you know what? I'm gonna get that joint trademarked as well. Conversations with Ask Ash. What's so cool about that is Everyday Work is really talking about what we're doing every day, our time management, the tasks, the processes, and the things that we're doing on a daily basis. And the reason why Everyday Work series is super powerful, and what we've been doing this for the past, I don't know, 8, 9, 12 weeks. We've been doing this for a long time, is that we're taking topics that we may often overlook, like communication. We have a 7-part series on that. And I'm going to improve my playlist so that you guys can kind of go through the playlist and by the topics and stuff and look at it better. But what we're doing right now is we're talking about everyday work, goal setting, alignment, road mapping. Now we're in this series of how to get stuff done, how to GSD. And so this week we're talking about meeting management, and we're talking about it because lots of people hate meetings. And so we're going to actually go and break this all the way down. What is actually a meeting? What is its true intention? And we're going to go over some best practices, some practical things that you can actually implement right away. And on Wednesday, we're going to go through a couple of app setups and things like that. but I'm very, very excited about that. I also want to just make a couple of other announcements before we get into the first segment of the show, where we are going to have just a little bye week, as they like to call it in the what is that, NFL? Yeah, NFL. A little bye week. Okay, we're gonna have a little bye week next week because I am emceeing the System Save Me Done in a Day virtual conference next week. Very excited about that. That's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to all of these things. Okay, I look forward to that and that whole crew. And so, yeah, I'll make sure to put in the comments. Yeah, the comments. Okay. I confused myself for a minute. I was like, where am I going to put it? I will put in the comments if you go to my Instagram stories. That was funny. If you go to my Instagram stories, I will definitely put the VC in there. We are about 1 week out from it, so I'm gonna need to put some promo for that this week, and I definitely want folks to tune in, buy a ticket or two, share with a friend. But it's a wonderful conference where Jordan Gill, head honcho, also the Queen of Reels, she has this wonderful conference where she teaches business owners how to use their gifts, their talents, what they usually do for like monthly retainers and things, and consolidate that to a business model that allows them to have more freedom, more make more money, and do the things that they love and really hone into their gifting and their talents. But there's so much more to it, to the conference, that you just have to come. You have to come. And so, yeah, that's it. Let's see. Things that you all did this weekend. Anything good? Anything good? Went to the Mac store. I did. And customer service. Let me tell you something. I had a Twitter thread on this where I wrote about Apple and how they have excellent customer service. And it dawned on me that in terms of project delivery with your clients, and especially those that are service providers, project managers, implementers, what do you call it? DOOs, director of operations, right? We need to really start to embody customer service is not just a transactional thing. It's not just, oh, I have a link and somebody clicked it and they booked a call with me, or customer service as, okay, I go to the cash register and that person was nice. Customer service and that experience should be embedded throughout every aspect of your business and your brand. And especially when you are delivering a service, having great project management is truly, truly one of the ways that you can up your customer service and experience game. That means having a process for client project delivery. And so I wrote a Twitter thread on that. And yeah, I think that's just me. That's just little old me. I truly think that it's really, really important that we understand the importance of transforming our service to clients, especially those that are implementers. And you're going to hear me use that word a lot. Implementers are truly people that are taking a particular system or a plan and putting that into action. That's what an implementer is, right? And so I think that if you're an implementer, you may not be called a project manager. You may be called an assistant. You may be called a director of operations. I don't know, but you're implementing something. That a key part of that is certain in terms of customer experience is being able to have a project delivery process, meaning that you're able to take a particular uh, the service that you're performing for your client and having it from start to finish, cradle to grave, so to speak, start to finish, that you're delivering that through a phased approach. Okay, your service provider, and having that particular plan in place. But more on that later. So, something that's interesting, I want to make sure I'm going to pull up my notes for this one because I think this was so good. So I was reading The Guardian. It is an Australian news source, right? Australian news source, a news article. They were talking about actual monetary loss in productivity. So catch this, folks. Catch this. And let me get a visual out so that you guys can really understand this. They said in New South Wales, they basically predicted in the New South Wales economy by 2025 there'll be loss of productivity due to poor mental health. The amount will be $7.5 billion. $7.5 billion. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Okay, I just opened up my whimsical, y'all, and they, oh, man, these, I'm telling you what, some of these, okay, let me not get distracted, folks. Hold on, I'm gonna, because a little update from one of my favorite tools just came out. Hold on, everybody. I'm just gonna, let me just open this up right quick. That is too funny. We're gonna get it started. Hold on. I'm going to open this up. Hold on one second. Systems Lab Live. I want to show you this number because I think we need to see it in real time, y'all. This was amazing to see. I just wasn't prepared for something like that. $7.5 billion. $7.5 billion. $7.5 billion. 7.5. All right, let me show you this number, y'all. Let me show you this number. Let me show you this number. Y'all see it? Come on, y'all. Okay, by 2025. It is now 2023. No, sorry, it's 2022. Sorry, it's 2022. But 2025 is not that far off. That's like two years. That's like 2 years and some change. It'll be here before you know it. This is what they're saying. They're saying that due to poor mental health, $7.5 billion will be lost in the New South Wales economy by 2025 if more is not done to support workers and businesses. Okay? So, why this is important? Let me go on and make sure that I'm also getting all the information. Okay. Okay. No, we're good. We're good to go. So I want us to talk a little bit about this concept because I think this is important when we're talking about what are some of the new challenges. And I can't even say that mental health is a new challenge, but it's more of a prevalent challenge when it's coming to team development in your organization. What you're seeing now more than ever is challenges with mental health being highlighted due to the pandemic, the pandorama, and all sorts of other things. Mental health is now at an all-time high in terms of concerns, in terms of things that people are going through in their life, right? And so pre-pandorama lifestyle, dealing with mental health looked different, okay? But if you are leading a team and you're putting together a team, you should be thinking about productivity from the standpoint of someone's mental health. Okay, we need to kind of make sure that we make it make sense. Okay, it's not just I want to hire somebody to do a task. Now you can do that, nothing wrong with that. But when you start getting into the role of I'm going to be building a team. I'm going to be building a squad. These are people I want to build with. These are people I want to do innovation with. These are people I'm riding for. Like, we're riding together. You know what I'm saying? And so these are folks where you were like putting together job descriptions, and salaries are involved, and healthcare, and getting them equipment and all these other things. It's not just going to be about get the task done. Okay? Because really, you could just either do it yourself, or just, you know, have another situation where you can just get that done. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But you got to think about, what's the plan for mental health in terms of the company's well-being, but also for the individual that's coming, that's bringing their talents, that's bringing their particular skill set to your team. Okay, because in New South Wales, they're saying that by 2025, $7.5 billion are going to be lost due to productivity due to mental health. So it's so important that when we're talking about these particular productivity trends, this is the stuff that we got to talk about. So getting behind the issue of maybe if somebody's not working on a project correctly, they seem kind of off. That's why you got to know your people and know what's going on. Folks aren't just robots. Now, I'm sure you can hire a robot to do a couple different things, right? They got the Jarvis AI, and they got all these different type of automated things. So you don't have to worry necessarily about feelings on that front. But we're talking about folks that are just living and trying to do life, and really trying to be and do, and they're trying to have meaning, and so it's workplaces and teams, and as founders, what does that look like? What does that investment look like to that team member? How are you bringing out the best in them so that they can love what they do, and then in turn, with what you're building, they're able to add their talents to the to what you're building? It's something to think about. When I read that article, I said to myself, now when we talk about team development and team operations, and you talk about, what does it mean to craft something together so that your team is working, you got to have this aspect of that investment, that personal development, that professional development, the mental health piece of it. Making sure in terms of your processes that you have in place, making sure people have the freedom if they need a day off, that they can have that. It also goes to show you too, when I was studying a bit about remote work and async communication, that it's going to be very important that people are going to be able to set their own hours, right? And that's scary for a lot of people. Just because you're up at 5 and 6 and that's your flow, does that mean that that person that's on your team, that they need to be up at that time? Now, if that's an agreement and that's a requirement, by all means, go ahead and have that in terms of your, what do you call, the job announcement, and your recruitment efforts and all of that. But if it's not, and you have office hours, the what do you call, hours of operation, and maybe your hours of operation are really like 8 to 5. That's sometimes what I see. Sometimes I see 10 to 6. Sometimes I see like 10 to 4, Monday through Thursday, and then Fridays are off. And then see, in terms of your team member, what's the best hours that they can work? I've heard of that. What's the best hours? Now, when it's coming to some of the more corporate environments, you may not necessarily have that level of flexibility, where you're just maybe showing up at, not just showing up, but you are really logging on, so to speak, at like 10 a.m. You're going to have to figure out something. But I know that more corporations and more businesses are looking at how they can best help employees have that balance. Okay. And not just, it's not like, you know, work life balance and, how I can do it best and things like that, which, I think that has its place. But when I'm talking about balances, I mean, how do you create a whole life where you're not overwhelmed by like one aspect of it where it just dominates everything and then everything else falls apart. So, okay, that's what I just wanted to share with you all, that was a eye opener. That was a true eye opener. Okay, this was again The Guardian. This was the Australian news news source. I mean, and it's the Impact of Economics and Policy report commissioned by the NSW Council of Social Services. And so they looked at the compounding impacts of repeated natural disasters and the pandemic on the mental health of the population. $7.5 billion in loss the New South Wales economy is predicting by 2025 due to a decline in mental health. Powerful. It's powerful for us to look at. Now, we shall transition, folks, to show and tell with Ask Ash. All right. I'm excited about this, where we are, not show and tell with Ask Ash, folks. We're in process and flow. Process and flow. All right, y'all. So we're going to start talking about meetings. Okay? I do have a little poll that I would love to do for you all, and we'll definitely have the people on YouTube and LinkedIn. You guys can participate, but for the Instagram fam, I want you to put in the comments what's the first thing you hear, or what's the first thing you think of when you hear the word meeting? Okay, when someone says it's time to call a meeting, what is that? What is that, folks? What do you all think? What do you all think when someone has the word meeting? Okay, what is it that you think of? I'd love to know that word meeting. What does that mean to you? And I'm going to show the Slido poll, and so you guys can certainly, take the poll and yeah, let me know. Okay, let me know. Let me know what y'all think. When somebody, time for updates, changes, focus for the month. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. So usually when I think of meetings, folks, I also usually think of meetings as it's time to make a decision. We need to talk about something. We need to move something forward. That's usually what I say as well. But I like that. Time for updates, changes, focus for the month. I like that. That's really, really good. Okay. Now, I thought this was interesting in my particular research, right? Is talking about what is a meeting. What is a meeting? Most of us feel as though, meetings are just boring and, they have no purpose, or, is it going to be too long? Like, there's so many different word associations, but a meeting is defined as a real-time gathering of two or more people for the purpose of achieving a common goal through conversation and interaction. That's what a meeting is. That is the definition of a meeting. Meetings is a real-time gathering of two or more people for the purpose of achieving a common goal through conversation and interaction. Meetings have three qualities which differentiate from other kinds of conversations. That's what I said when I saw that. I said there's meeting qualities, like qualifiers. Okay. Number 1, meetings are declared. Someone decides that a meeting should happen with a group of people. Usually this results in someone scheduling a meeting. So someone says, we need a meeting, right? That usually comes with there's no clarity. Sometimes it's like we have 50 emails and we still don't get it. Why is that? Sometimes that's why meetings are called. Number 2, meetings have a purpose, or do they? Because some people would say sometimes these meetings don't have purpose. Okay. But meetings are supposed to have a purpose. While the purpose may not be clear to everyone in attendance, there's always a reason someone felt they needed to declare a meeting. But that's true. That's so true. There's usually a couple of people who are like, why are we meeting? This should have been in an email. Okay. I love those little memes that say, this should have been an email. We didn't need to have a meeting. Right. That's what gets people about actually wanting to meet, because folks don't, they're not really saying why we need to meet, which is kind of like, meetings have a defined start and end. Now, see, this is where it gets tricky, because some people just like to have meetings and it's just going on and on and on, right? So let's go over the 3 qualities once again. Number one, meetings are declared. Someone decides that a meeting should happen with some group of people, and this results in someone scheduling a meeting. Okay? Someone says, "Hey, we need to meet." That's why we need a meeting. Okay? We need a meeting. Meetings have a purpose. While they might not be clear to everyone in attendance, there's always a reason someone felt they need to declare a meeting. Meetings have a defined start and end. Okay? That's good, y'all. When I saw that, I was like, okay, I get it, right? I get the definition of a meeting and its true intent. Taylor says that's becoming more popular, in my opinion. People don't look forward to meetings that they like they used to. She's so right. Taylor is absolutely right. People are dreading these meetings now, and that's because a few things, and I wrote some things down, and y'all put them in the comments too. But let's see if y'all are on the same page that as I am. Most people, and I'm just writing down what I have seen, what I've experienced of why people hate meetings. Number 1, meetings are known to get a bad rap because they don't have a focus. There's no agenda at all. Okay? People come to them, like we said, they're like, why am I here? This could have been an email. I have something better to do. You called me here. You didn't send an agenda. I don't know why I'm here. What's my role? Okay. Too many people. Identify the right people in the meeting. That's a pro tip, but we'll get into the pro tips in a minute. But this is really important. Too many people in the meeting. Sometimes folks just don't, there's like so many people in the email. In the meeting. I'm sure that there could possibly be 2 to 3 folks that, depending on how big the team is now, sometimes it could be you and a couple of people, and that's just, that's the meeting right there. But if you have particular people and it's like a large amount of folks, you just want to niche down on who you're meeting with. That part, that could have been in an email. Okay. We already know. We on the same page. People who arrive late or leave early to meetings. That's why some people hate meetings, because folks are late, habitually late. You log on to that Zoom meeting 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, and then you got to leave early. People hate that. People hate that. And I can understand why. First of all, if you've arrived on time, I like to arrive on time. I am usually 95% of the time, unless I have a back-to-back or something's going on that's like something that's going on. I am usually 2 to 3 minutes ahead of schedule, ready to click the button to log on. Now, if you have a waiting room, that's cool with me. If you don't have a waiting room, I may just log on right at the the time, like right on time. Just because, I don't want people to also feel like they have to log in. You ever have that feeling of like if you arrive early, I don't want you to feel like you have to log in because you may be doing something. That's just me. Um, what else? No action steps or next steps. People don't know, okay, what action should I be taking? Like people, we meet and then we go, I'm out. I'll see you. We say, thank you. Thank you. Bye. Bye. That's the funny part, especially with virtual meetings. Man, everybody's saying bye at 5 different times at different inflections. Bye. See ya. Thank you. Bye. Everyone's just like, and some people are just like, click, I'm out because I don't even know why I am here. I don't even know why I'm here. Notes aren't taken. Okay, notes aren't taken. Now this is just me. I think it's important, number one, that people take notes during meetings. Take your own notes. I do believe that there should be some form of note taking that goes on in a formalized way. And we can kind of get into some best practices in a minute. And it does not mean that you have to assign a physical person to assign it. There are other apps and things that you can do. And we'll get into the apps and things on Wednesday. I'm very excited to kind of talk you through what that looks like. But no notes. Okay. What's up, Tyrus? No notes are taken. And most of the time, depending on and I'm really focusing in on like project related work, like not like, well, I get, well, listen, I think, every meeting needs some sort of note, even if it's just like 2 main points, 3 action items, whatever it is. But there needs to be a record of some sort. And also too, folks, I don't know how people feel about like replays and watching meetings and things, but I know for me, I may not go back and watch a recording of a meeting. But in terms of best practices, and we'll talk a little bit about this on Wednesday, some people do updates via Loom or a screen sharing tool and literally just gives a status update. Okay. Now, excuse me. I was mixing up my words. Contrary to popular belief, I don't actually think meetings should be about status updates. I think most meetings should really be focused on strategy and figuring stuff out, like figuring things out. Like, are you stuck? Is something going on? Have you gotten yourself in some mess? Just kidding. Well, not really, because you may have gotten yourself into something, but you should be figuring out what you should do next. Oh, I love it. Tyra says, folks don't have to folks, what do you say? Folks don't watch replays. Okay. Taylor believes in the real replays. Okay. So you would be the person that would actually have like a library, this Loom library that have the replays. That's good. What's going on, Abby? Abby, do you like meetings? What's going on, Abby? Great to see you. But yeah, I think meetings should be about strategy. I think meetings should be about figuring things out. You know what I'm saying? We have a segment in our meetings where we identify, discuss, and solve. See? You see right there? Identify, discuss, and solve. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. So I think too, and brings up a really good point, and I think that because there's different types of meetings. I don't mind going over this twice because it's fine. It's all relevant. I believe that if you are working on something, a project that has a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts, and maybe you just need some oversight, right? You just need to make sure that things are going in the right direction. I believe in having like 15-minute meetings. Now, not every day. You don't have to do them every day, but I think that you should have some touch points with either like core team people. Maybe it's like marketing, maybe it's like, the person that's doing like three things for whatever type of project that you're working on, and identify, discuss, and solve. Okay. And because I think that's a great way to talk about, here's a risk, we got a problem, and I need to know what's the best way to solve it. Can you help me? Well, what is it? You know what I'm saying? And this is a perfect way. Share your screen. Whatever you need to do, forward an email, read about something, come up with the strategy, right? And then you can keep it moving, right? You can just go ahead and keep it moving. Now, I do believe, okay, now that you may, in the beginning of a project, especially if you are, and again, speaking to my PMs that may have clients on a retainer basis, or if you're new to a team and you're leading out a project, you may need to meet more in the beginning once you get everything streamlined, which I think is fine because you're getting to know people and you're trying to identify the people um, that you're working with. But, and I feel like Tyrus said this one time. I think Tyrus said this one time. Man, it was probably in some meeting that we're in a long time ago, but I agreed with him when he said this. He was like, I don't think we need to be meeting all the time. It was something that you said, and I believe it too. I believe once a project is like everyone knows what they're doing, you don't really need to be meeting that much. Like, you can have check-ins where you can really just make sure that everybody understands like what's happening, and if there's a new direction within the project, or if there's like a major update or something like that. But I don't think that you need to be meeting all the time. And what I mean by meeting all the time is like you're having 3 to 4 meetings a week on the same type of project, right? Now, weekly meetings, like weekly syncs with like your core team, makes sense. Like, I think that's healthy. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't think that's anything wrong with you having like a Monday or Tuesday, meeting sync or whatever the case is. I think that's fine. Now, tip and trick is, well, Slack. I was just about to say that. Um, okay, Tyrus just brought that in. Short check-ins, that's it. Let the project management software track the status. There you go. That was just what I was going to say. Short check-ins, let the project management software track the status. And he's absolutely right. Folks should get themselves familiar with project management tools if you're not there already. It is 2022. I implore people to get in the mix with whichever one that you are using or that your team's using. Update it regularly. Once everything is set up, the thing can run itself. Really, the thing can really run itself. You can update it, tag people, get your comments in Slack. If you use that, if you there's there's a workflow builder. I've done it before where you can set it up and you can literally have some sort of like Monday check-in type of thing. What folks are working on, what they need help with, topics to discuss at the short check-in. Boom. And you can automate that thing. And you could just check in with folks. Boom, boom, boom. And keep it moving. I love it. Tips for successful meeting management. We started talking about this now, but I do think that I always think about this as like a BLT sandwich. I don't really eat sandwiches at all, but this was like the easiest way that I can kind of think of it. I always like to think of the cooking examples, but automate questions. Exactly. Tips for successful meeting management, especially those that are you're supporting your leaders, your CEOs. You have work to do. You may have multiple projects that you are managing. You got to find a way to use this technology to leverage the process so that you are not constantly manually typing out answers or manually responding to things in email. It's going to save you. So this BLT approach is the prep, the mix, and the action. Okay. the prep. If you're going to have a meeting, have a purpose, have an outcome. What is it? What's the purpose of this meeting? What are the particular outcomes that you want? The agenda for it. Okay. What are the items that you want to cover? Who's attending? Okay. You may not need to have everybody at the meeting. You may only need one or two folks. Who are the key people that are doing this job and that job? Bring them in. Let's talk. Okay. Technology, that's important. So what are you going to use? Is this going to be video conferencing? Do you want to do this in Slack huddles? You may need to just really have it with that little Slack huddle button that they have. Easy. You can do screen sharing with that. You could have a huddle right inside of Slack. That might be your best bet. Literally, is using a Slack huddle. It's quick. It's easy. And then you have the core people who need to be in that particular group. The format, okay? And this is, and this goes into the types of meetings that you want to have. You could have brainstorming meetings, you can have team meetings, you can also have those short check-in meetings, one-on-ones. It all really depends. So that technology piece and then the format, you may need to, again, create a Google Doc, do something inside of ClickUp, Asana, whatever it is that you use, and set things up automatically so that you're not having to recreate every single week. All right. So that's some of the prep. If you are, again, supporting your CEOs, your leaders, and things like that, you'll be the one to help to actually push this thing forward, right? To initiate the meeting, get in there. And then help those leaders out for sure. And if you are, you're the actual head of the company or the CEO, you too, if you want to, if you are leading out the discussion, make sure that you are guiding the people, right? Because anytime, you got a boss or, or maybe a leader or whomever that's actually going to lead out a meeting, you want to make sure that you are guiding the discussion in such a way where that you're helping people think through these agenda topics, right? Like, I think that's just a plus, right? Knowing how to guide the discussion so that there's no stone left unturned. All right, the mix, meeting facilitation. I believe that there's a bit of an art to it, okay? Because I think that we get into these rooms and then we don't know who's in charge. There's always somebody in charge. Okay. Somebody should be leading something. Somebody should be facilitating the agenda. Okay. I think that's really important. When I was a government contractor, I said this last week, but it's worth mentioning again. When I was a government contractor, Department of Homeland Security, yes, where was a contract where what were we doing? Oh yes, literally setting up meetings for these councils, right? And one of them was like the Food and Agriculture Council. It's fascinating stuff back in the day. What did we do? We would prepare these public meetings, right? And some of these, and if you're familiar with government agencies and how they work, there'll be things that you have to have, like public meetings where the public can come and anybody can come, and there's a whole process, to it all. So that's what we did. We literally would prepare for these meetings, agenda, format, emailing, meeting facilitation, all the things would go on. Snacks. People loved having some snacks now. Okay. An important part of meeting management. Okay. If you're virtual, you're going to have to do like a DoorDash situation and get some folks to have get some snacks for their meeting. But it's very important. Meeting facilitation. All right. That is you facilitating the meeting and ensuring that the outcome and the purpose are met. Leave room for creativity and questions. Okay, leave room for people to ask questions, to get clarity, to have their thoughts, to have their opinions, to express them, okay? Because there's nothing worse than people feeling like they can't speak up or that they can't actually be able to express themselves, right? Especially if it's relevant for your project and the thing that you are looking to work on. Set a time limit for each topic. Now, this is something that I think that is overlooked because sometimes we can just go in on a topic. We can just go in. And so that's not always like the best thing, just going in when there's no end in sight. You're sort of just wondering, will this topic end? Yes or no? Sometimes it's good to have a little bit of that spontaneity and you start going into a different direction. But part of meeting facilitation is being able to guide the discussion and then land that plane until you arrive at its destination. If you're solving for a particular decision, you're trying to reach consensus, time limits, folks. Time limits. Folks like to go on and on. It's just nature. Okay? So, even with the agenda items, another point I want to make is reaching consensus and making decisions. If there are particular things that you're looking for a decision on, make sure you put that in the front of that agenda in that meeting. That could be something that's posted. That could be something that's said in the beginning. And you could be able to really say, all right, for this meeting, we're going to go over these 3 things, these 3 to 4 things. We also need to have a decision on X, Y, and Z. Okay. By the end of this meeting, we need to have a decision on this. So we're going to have a discussion on X. Make it plain so that people understand what they're there for. Nothing like a long-winded meeting. That's what Kurt says. Telling you, people like to get to a talking, right? And if this was social hour, this would be okay, but it's usually not. And that type of even brainstorming, you have a little bit of structure with that, and you could have people go on just for a little bit, but circle it back where you're landing that plane so that you're reaching consensus. Make sense? I think it makes sense. Capturing notes. Okay. Now you can assign someone to be a note taker or you can automate that. Okay. There is otter.ai. There is, I think, Avina, something like that. I wrote it down for Wednesday because we're going to go over that on Wednesday. Otter.ai, Rev, Firefly, all those ones, they come into your little Zoom room and they automatically record. And I think you have to upgrade for something because I just recently came across it. So you don't even have to worry about taking notes. But if you have like a person that is your PM or your virtual assistant or a project assistant or somebody that is working with you, something that can be done is they can take that otter.ai, that transcript, and then get those key points out, boom, post them, have them in ClickUp, have them in that meeting section, and we're going to go over that on Wednesday, where to actually set that up. But they can do that, and they can be able to distribute those notes accordingly. And if people, again, with the meetings and the recordings, if people want to do that to actually go back for the replay, they can. But this is not a Netflix or Hulu of meetings where you can just go and select things and you want to watch them. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be that situation. It's not. But utilizing technology to help leverage the process is going to really, really help you out. So you're not doing any type of writing yourself or having to pay attention. There's only a few people, myself, I'm one of those people, that can do both. You can facilitate, you can take some notes, you can be able to listen to key things and facilitate. But that's just because I had to do that for work, and that was just a part of what we did. So yeah, there's that. All right, what do you do after a meeting, which again sometimes gets us all tripped up? Y'all, what do we do after the meeting? We say bye on our Zoom calls. Bye, love you guys, bye, see y'all later, thank you. That's what we say on our virtual Zoom meetings, right? That's what we all say. Bye, have a good weekend. Bye, have a good rest of the day. That's all we say. But sometimes we don't know if I'm responsible for something. You may not get an email, right? Like, you know, you got to think about how you're going to capture those particular action items and those notes. And so that's really why being able to set up an agenda, whether that's in ClickUp, whether that's in Slack, whether having, something where you're connecting those tools together so that people are getting action items, that's like literally one of the best things that you can do. So even inside of ClickUp, you can do a couple things where you can set up a meeting management folder as a task. You can set an agenda inside of there. You can have subtasks as the action items. You can also have the docs section of ClickUp, and you can literally have a meeting agenda there. And again, assign action items as well through there. But yeah, people knowing what to do and when to do those things after a meeting. If there is not someone that is going to be responsible for that, that's going to be a problem. So that you can automate pieces of that, and you can, you can help people help themselves by pushing out that information. And so creating a process, documenting that, making sure that people know what they're doing and when they're doing it is going to be crucial. There's ways that you can do that inside of other tools like Notion. And again, that particular tool, if you think about Wikipedia, it's like that. It's usually it's like a blank page, right? And you can create a page that has like a team dashboard, almost like that. And you can definitely put like meeting notes. You can have action items. You can tag people in them. You can most likely, and I'm just envisioning this in my head as well, you can set it up in such a way where you can have a relational database. You can add an action item to a project and add it there and then assign it, and it pops up in a different place. It's hard to kind of explain when I'm not showing you, but that's essentially how you can make that make sense, right? Storing your notes, same thing I was just talking about with the capturing the notes. You're going to want to decide early on where these notes are going to live. Some people prefer a Google Drive approach, and they have like meeting notes. I don't know if that really, again, it just depends. I'm not sure if that's always the best way to do that. However, you could always sync Google Drive to many apps like task management tools and whatnot. But I would say, repeating, the Notion and the ClickUp, for example, you can also do this with Asana too. Creating a standardized template inside those project management tool platforms where you can easily be able to set the agenda, set it and forget it, create templates, reuse them week to week, and you can then assign people action items and things like that. That's the bottom line, and centralized, and it's in one space. That's the beauty of it. Questions, comments, concerns about meeting management? Let's chat. Well, we've been chatting, but you know what I mean. If you have anything more, let me know. Let me know. Meeting management. I wanted to go over this with you because oftentimes we miss the mark on meetings because we don't know its purpose. We don't know how to facilitate, and we miss out on opportunities to make sure that our communication is streamlined in such a way where we're empowering ourselves and our team members to take action. So that is it. That is it. Well, come on, our soul spaces. Come on with the peace and love. Come on. Oh, I love to see it. Oh, I love to see it. Our soul spaces. Come on. Come on with it. I thank you so much for that comment. Come on. So, yeah, that's what we're doing here, folks. Okay? That's what we're doing here, folks. Man, we're at the end of the show, folks. There's no comments. All right. Oh, well, thank you. Well, thank you so much. Kurt the Connector, sharing links. Well, come on with it. Thank you so much. Now, the challenge of the week, folks. I would say the challenge of the week, folks, is to create an agenda with time limits. That's the challenge of the week, guys. So what I would do, if I were you, I love that. If I were you, this is what I would do. Challenge of the week. You want to text live to 626-722-5444. You want to get on board with the Systems Lab live crew. It's the crew where you can actually come on through and ask me questions about the live streams. That's where we can really visit with one another, talk, text. You got questions, let me know. But text hashtag live to 626-722-5444. You would be joining the text community as well, in all transparency. But the text community is all the way live, where I'm just sending out weekly tips. Nothing where I'm bombarding you each and every single day, but sending out maybe 1 to 2 texts per week. I'm really focusing on project management, productivity tips, leading projects, communication, all the things in between, y'all. All the things in between. So if you'd like to, come on through. Come on through for the challenge of the week. Challenge of the week. Now, the end of August is coming, 2 days away. So we're entering in September. We're entering in fall, the new territory. So if you are, or a friend or so, you're looking to spiffy up your ClickUp, we have VIP day slots available for Q4 and September. We got 2 spots open in September for the ClickUp VIP day. What I would do is I would just text VIP to 626-722-5444, or very much go to ashleyschuler.com/VIP-day. Read all about the ClickUp VIP day and book a call so that we can talk about how to make sure that you are not waking up each morning, not knowing what to do, when to do, and why you're doing what you're doing. Okay? Sometimes we're just click, clacking away, and we don't know why. We don't know why we're click, clacking away, but we want to really make sure that we are utilizing these tools and being trained on them, and they're set up in the right place and space. All right. But yeah, go ahead and visit the website. And if that interests you, if that fits you right now this season, go on and click a link. But very good, very good. I'm excited about what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday. It's going to be good. Tips and tricks and all this other fun stuff. We'll probably do a little bit of building too. That'll be good. I'll make sure to have some Shackley Energizer tea. It's like so good. Have to stay up a little bit. But we'll do some fun stuff. We'll probably do a little bit of building as well. That's all that I have for you all today. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Systems Lab Live. Make sure you share this live with a friend, especially those that hate meetings. Share it with them because this was a good live. It was a very good live. All right, y'all. Let's get it started. Let's get it started, as the song says. All right, y'all. Oh. And we out. Talk to y'all soon. Have a good one.